Sweet Bonnaroo, come on. Come on, Tennessee, I know you.
And you say he's just a friend. And you say he's just a friend. Oh, baby, you got what I need.
Welcome to Storytime at the Rubus, a weekly podcast about the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival. I'm your host, Charla.
And I'm Daniel, and it's lineup day.
It is lineup day.
How are you feeling, Charlotte?
I'm feeling fantastic. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. This has been a roller coaster getting the lineup because you know how rumors and things go, but we have it in our hand now, and we're going to save our thoughts for just a moment because we want to welcome all of our new listeners.
Yes, I'm so excited.
This is always our biggest episode of the year, and I think we will probably have a lot of people new to us and the podcast and the bus. So welcome. We're glad that you're our new friends. Should we tell them a little bit about what the bus is and what we're about?
The bus is a rolling museum of Bonnaroo and its friends and its culture and everything that's wonderful about Bonnaroo.
Yeah, exactly. So Charla and I and our friends like Brooklyn are the current caretakers of it. The bus was originally made by Bob and Tammy Wilson in Manchester, just a couple of miles up the road from the farm. And they have passed it to us. One of these days, we'll pass it to someone else. But for now, we're driving it and rolling it around. And we cannot wait for you to come party with us at Bonnaroo in June, inside the bus, on top of the bus, whatever.
Yeah. Definitely come say hi. Come sign the bus. People sign it with markers, paint markers, inside, out. So we're ready to meet you.
That is a beloved Bonnaroo tradition that we just love being a part of. So come meet us, sign the bus. Leave your signature on kind of like a rolling yearbook of Bonnaroo. We can't wait to see you. And we're here to talk about the lineup today.
Yes.
But we also want to tell you a little bit about what else you can expect in this episode. So first off, Charlotte and I are going to have our initial reactions to the lineup. You haven't told me anything yet.
No, I haven't.
We're both looking at it, and we haven't really expressed any thoughts to one another yet.
No.
We're saving it for the podcast. After that, we're going to have a couple of different things. We have a panel of some of our very good friends that are going to jump on with us.
And we're going to do a Twitter Spaces with everyone.
Yeah, right when the lineup releases, we're doing a Twitter Spaces to get some reactions from other Bonnaroovians. And Charla, we have something a little weird and a little fun. I did an interview with some of the regulars over at InfoRoo this past week.
Awesome.
Yeah, I will warn everyone, we did the interview before the lineup was out, so we might sound a little silly in retrospect, but I was glad to have some of those hooligans on for this big episode. And we're also going to talk a little bit about our Patreon.
Yes.
We'll talk more about that towards the end of the episode, but we do have a Patreon. I will tell you up front that 80% of everything from the Patreon goes to the Bonnaroo Works Fund. They are the charity arm of Bonnaroo.
Yes, they're such a great organization to support.
And the other 20% will go to buy knickknacks that we will give out to everyone as party favors at the Wednesday night Rubus pre-party.
Yes, it's going to go to support the Wednesday night pre-party.
Yes, so more information on that later, but if you haven't been part of Bonnaroo traditions in the past, we do hold a pre-party at the Rubus on the Wednesday night before Bonnaroo really gets kicked off. This year, we will be having the DJ duo Get Weird there, and some other surprise special guests that we will nail down as June gets closer. More information on that as we get closer.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's going to be fun. All right, Charlotte, it's time.
It is time.
It is time to dig into our initial reactions to the lineup. Ladies first.
Ladies first?
Yeah,
okay.
What do you think?
Woo, okay. So I think that there is one headliner on there in particular that people are going to be really, really surprised with, because when rumors were going around, people were saying that no way we'll get this headliner because she has canceled her shows.
Yeah.
Etc.
People have said, well, she's not really touring.
She's not touring, has
but
canceled her shows.
There she is, leading off Sunday.
There she is in the flesh. So,
Who? You still haven't said who.
Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
Is going to be singing for us as a headliner on Sunday night.
I think that is a bucket list performer for a lot of people. So
Oh,
I think
hell yeah.
a lot of people are going to be very, very happy to see her on the lineup.
Yeah, we haven't had like really a legacy headliner close out on Sunday in
No.
quite a while, it feels like.
Yeah. So I'm very, very happy to see her on that lineup.
Yeah, me too. That is a bucket list thing. You're right. What else?
So what else on there? Just it's a very, very good filled out lineup. I feel like there's a lot of different genres on the lineup. I feel like
Yeah, it's very diverse.
very
I like
diverse.
last time we had a Bonnaroo in 2019. That was one of the best features of that lineup. It was very diverse. Like, where else can you have Fish and Childish Gambino on the same night?
Right, exactly.
So, like, Saturday, for example, Tool, Flume, and 21 Savage. Like, yeah, that's all over the place.
Exactly.
Friday is all over the place. J. Cole, The Chicks, and Millennium.
That is completely different.
I cannot, off the top of my head, think about any festival that has as wacky of a diverse lineup as that. You know, in a good way.
Right.
What are your other thoughts?
Well, they did keep some things from the previous lineups on there. Goose is still on there.
I know you're happy about that.
I'm very, very happy to see Goose on there.
King Gizzard is there on Friday.
King Gizzard is there on Friday, so very happy to see that. Very happy to see some bands that I really, really wanted to see on there, like Disclosure.
Charlotte, do we want to talk about Machine Gun Kelly for just a second?
Okay, so there's been a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
People will have opinions on that
People will
one.
have a lot of opinions about Machine Gun Kelly. I like Machine Gun Kelly's music.
Oh, that is a very good distinction. You like his music.
I like his music.
But maybe not him personally.
And also, Machine Gun Kelly and I have the same birthday, so...
That counts for something.
That counts for something. I like his music.
There are some other holdovers from the last lineup or two. They all kind of meshed together since we never had them.
Mhm.
But I do see Mark Riboulet. I never know how to say his last name. The Loop Daddy guy.
The Loop Daddy guy is still on there. Yes. Good to see Loop Daddy.
I think Billy Strings was on the original 2020 lineup. It's good to see him. I love his
Yeah,
kind of
he's
like
great.
trippy bluegrass. King Gizzard, of course, we were supposed to have them last year. Do you see any others that were on the scrap lineups? I think Rez is one. Other than that, it's a lot of new stuff, to be honest. I would think this
Was
is only...
Pigeons playing ping pong on there? On the original?
Yes,
Yeah.
because we interviewed them on the podcast
Yes, I was about to say,
before
yeah.
2020 happened. We had their guitarist, I think it was. It's been so long, I can't remember now. But yes, you can dig into our archives and find an interview with them. Other than that, yeah, Goose was going to be there last year. I think they were on the Virtual Roo some time ago. Is that when you really got into them?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Andy Frasco and the UN was supposed to play Roo last year, but they ended up playing the other fest in Manchester. And I got to see that with a couple of friends. I got to see that with Lord Taco from the What Podcast and Bruce that does the I Am Bonnaroo photo stuff and a couple other friends. And they were great. Had a really good time with them.
What about Denzel Curry? Wasn't he on the original lineup?
Yes, clearly he was originally supposed to come out
with Glass Animals,
Glass Animals
Mm-hmm.
and have his own set. Too bad we don't have Glass Animals.
Yeah.
That's one of the omissions that I wish we had. Also, I'm sorry, Charlotte. No My Morning Jacket.
Yeah, no Run the Jewels.
Oh, I'm just now realizing that.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other like big names that jump out to me as well, like Ludacris. Like,
Wait,
okay, that's
where?
going to be fun.
I did not even
Ludacris
see that.
on the second line on Saturday,
I did not even notice
Yeah.
that. Oh, wow.
as well as All Time Low. That's a throwback.
Okay, so can we talk about some others on there? Tierra Whack.
Brooklyn's going to be excited about
Yes.
that one.
All Them Witches.
Weren't they at Bonnaroo a couple of years ago? I feel like I stopped and saw a few songs
Yeah.
from them. Yeah.
Can
Herbie
we talk about
Hancock
Herbie
is-
Hancock?
Yeah.
I was about to say Herbie Hancock.
Can I be honest? Listen, I'm going to embarrass myself for a quick moment, but I thought he had passed.
No.
I did not know he was still alive. So.
You know where I first learned about Herbie Hancock?
Where?
School of Rock.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But, hey, Charlotte, I think that's good for our initial reactions.
Yeah.
We should bring in some friends. So why don't we go ahead and jump into our first segment and see how everybody is reacting to this on Twitter Spaces.
Okay, everyone, we're on Twitter. We're going to see what everybody thinks about the lineup now that it is unofficially out.
Yeah, so we're recording this at 11:20-something a.m. Central Time. The lineup has just released. So thanks to All Them Witches. They're the new Mdu Mokhtar for this year. Everybody, let's go see them. First on the line, we've got the new member of the Rubus crew for 22, Miss Jo. Jo, what do you think?
Hello. I'm very, very excited about this lineup. I knew some of these names have been on the past leaks, but I'm very, very happy with it. as far as like, me with the EDM, I think it's great. We've got some melodic EDM thrown in there. I'd say I'm most excited to see Millennium and Stevie Nicks.
Yes.
It's definitely been a lifelong dream to see Stevie Nicks, so that'll be really fun.
What else stands out to you? Any of the smaller font names you're excited about?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Lucy, we knew she was going to be there.
Your girl,
very
yeah.
excited to see her. Chris Lake. Let's see. The Wallows. All Time Low. That'll be a fun one.
That's a left field booking. That's cool.
It really is. It threw me off a little bit, but I was like, I'm here for it. Let's see. Oh, Ludacris. I just saw that.
Luda.
Suicide Boys will be. I'll definitely be at Suicide Boys.
Our buddy Christy's going to be happy about that.
And let's see. Let's pick two more. Disclosure for sure. And Tublo. I'm actually very excited for Tublo.
Tovlo's been there a few times. Everybody has seen a lot of Tovlo the past 2 times, if you know what I mean. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can get Miss Chloe.
Oh, there she is.
All right. We had some small technical difficulties, but we've got Chloe on with us now. All right, Chloe. Give us your initial thoughts. What are you thinking about this?
I am so stoked. I think this is so fun.
Hello.
Hey, we've got Mr. Eric Abel on as well. He lives just up the road from us, about 10 minutes north of where the Rue bus parks. What do you think about it, Eric?
Oh, I think it's an outstanding lineup, and I just can't wait to be back on the farm with everybody.
Yep.
I know. The lineup is really all the buddies that we're going to get lit with, but this is just the background music while we do that.
Right. I do want to see the Dixie Chicks. I mean, the Chicks. I mean, I'm glad they weren't a top 3 lineup. That was worried me a little bit. But, I mean, Stevie Nicks is going to be there. Oh, my God, that's a bucket list artist for me to see.
Yeah, I think we all feel that way.
Yeah.
Me and Charlotte were just using that very specific term, a bucket list artist. That's
Right.
somebody, I mean, let's be honest, she's getting on up there in age. We're not going to have a lot of chances left.
Right.
So this is a pretty big deal.
And then some of my favorite bands, Lord Huron, Judah and the Lion, Tough Low. I'm just stoked. I mean, Mount Joy. Wow.
Yeah, this is a solid, diverse lineup. Like, the Stevie Nicks thing really pulls it over the top when you have,
Yeah.
like, a big legacy headliner like that. That pulls a lot of the weight up, I feel like. Chloe, how about you? What are you really looking forward to?
I am so stoked about Millennium. I missed him the last time he played at Rue.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm so stoked. I think he played like on a Sunday night, and I was like a husk of a person. So I just totally
Same.
missed it. Yeah. But oh man,
Kept me bawling my eyes out.
I'm just gonna stand and cry. I think that's the mood.
Guys, give me like a quick like TLDR on Millennium. Like I'm not like waist deep in EDM like some of you are. So like, what can I expect from that?
He's definitely like more melodic. Like
Oh,
I think
yeah.
his stuff. Yeah, I don't want to say poppy, but a little bit like more melodic.
It's very
catchier.
moving.
Yeah, it's
Like, don't
emotional
listen
for
to it
sure.
if you've just gone through a breakup.
Or maybe
from
do,
experience.
because it might be cathartic.
All right, I see we've got a couple others on now. Here's a regular Rubus friend. We got Evan on from around the New Jersey, New York area.
Hey, happy lineup day, guys.
Happy Rue Day.
I just went. I'm still looking at it because we had that leak yesterday or last night, which was basically exactly the same. But I went through each day so far, and I got like 10 or 11 per day, which is probably pretty good.
It's pretty solid.
Most excited for Goose, Lord Huron, Mark Rebier, Chris Lake, Pigeons playing ping pong. Overall, I definitely like the lineup. I don't have any of my like key super hype artists that would like, really put me over the top, but it'll definitely keep me busy, and I think it's a great submission. Also, very happily surprised to see Stevie Nicks because it seems like she was a hard get.
Yeah,
for,
I feel like
a
she
lot of
was
festivals.
she was so hard that like when it kind of slipped last night a little bit, a lot of people were like, "Oh no, that can't be real. She's not touring. There's no way." But there she is. We've got another name on here I recognize. Will.
Hi, friends. Happy Christmas morning.
Yes, sir.
I really like it. At first I was like, this is not great. But then I started reading it, and there's so many names on. Billy Strings is a big one. I saw him recently and just blew my mind. Him on the farm is going to be fun. Porter Robinson's going to be fun. I've never seen him live, but just hear the best things. Closey on Thursday, it's going to get weird.
Oh man, that show is going to be lit. She's basically headlining on Thursday, and she was so fun on the other last time she played. I am so looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm stoked. She just released something the other day about her new production, and Rez did the same. And Rez closing out on Sunday is going to be really fun on the other. I imagine that's how it's going to be set up anyway. Tash Sultana's back. I'm very happy about that. All-time low. Stevie Nicks, everybody talked about it. You know, she was touring, I think it was last year. She was on a bunch of festival lineups and ended up pulling out. Like, she was on Shake Knees and ACL and all those, ended up pulling out because of COVID. So this is big. I'm hella excited.
Yeah, Stevie is probably, I don't know, it's going to take a little bit for this to sink in for me, but I feel like Stevie might be up there in the top 5 of biggest Rue bookings ever.
Yeah, it's big. I was expecting one big legacy, and I kind of think we got 2. We got Tool and we got Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Pretty ecstatic about it. Thanks for bringing me on too.
Yeah, dude, good to hear from you. All right, we've got Prepare Thy Fills /AJ. How's it going, dude?
Good, man. I just wanted to comment about the Millennium. I've seen him 7 times live.
Really?
And they are right. It's very melodic, but if you want to know what it's really like, on YouTube, you can watch his Lala performance last year. He hits you in the feels and then hits you in the face with bass, and it's probably the best.
It's amazing.
EDM show. Yeah, it's one of the best EDM shows I've ever seen.
I have a question
I'm super
for you.
stoked for Porter Robertson if they let him use his production that he brings on. I haven't had a chance to see him. Said the Sky is going to be an awesome set. I'm the guy that always brings my 65-year-old mom with me to Bonnaroo, and I'm really excited for her to get to see Stevie Nicks.
Man.
And can someone explain to me why J. Cole and the Chicks got such a high one? Should we be expecting an album drop from them this year before? Because I don't understand why they got that high of booking.
That would seem to be the case. I don't pretend to know that, but that seems to be a good line of thinking there. We've got Josh. How's it going, dude? What do you think?
What's going on, guys? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're pretty good.
Awesome. Well, first off, thank you all them witches. Praise.
Yeah, exactly. We got to go see them now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, in terms of diversity, like you were saying, I think this is like, I started going in 2018, and I went because it was so diverse, and I think, like, this is one of the most diverse lineups I've been able to go to, So, I'm very excited. Like, people that love rap, there's a ton of rap music here. It hits all the bases. Even the Chicks are here. So, I've seen some people complaining about the headliners. I wanted to know your thoughts on that. Like, I know there's not as many, but, less is more, in my opinion.
Oh, well, I personally think, like, it's not a terrible idea to kind of spread your headliner budget out. So, like, maybe J. Cole isn't exactly the strongest headliner, but when you kind of spread it out to, like, the Chicks and Millennium, and then next day Tool and Flume, maybe 21 Savage not so much, but, like, I don't think it's a terrible idea. It builds a lot of anticipation to see a huge headliner in Stevie on Sunday.
Yeah, not to mention, I will say, like, in my opinion, the middle of the poster, it is just stacked. I'm looking at all these white-lettered artists, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. There's a lot of these people, a lot of these artists that could be in that top row for sure. So, yeah, man, I'm stoked. Disclosure's going to be sweet.
Oh, I can't wait for that. That's a good point because, like, I feel a lot of the mid-card on Friday and Saturday is insane. Like, I'm just looking at Friday, and I'm going to be dead by Saturday because there's just so much.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you got King Gizzard, Goose, Disclosure's in there, Lord, obviously, War on Drugs, Still Woozy, Dayglow. This is all on Friday. And also, before I get off here, I do want to say, like, this lineup feels like Bonnaroo. And I remember in 2020, looking at that crazy stacked lineup, I was like, this is great. This is awesome. It just seems insane. Like, how did they make that happen? This is going to weed out a lot of those, people that only judge our festivals by lineups kind of thing. And, like, it's going to really bring the actual grassroots people that love to be a Bonnaroo out there.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
I agree.
Yeah, like, I feel like in 2019 we got a lineup where somebody was just like, okay, let's just let Bonnaroo be Bonnaroo and be weird. And I kind of feel like this lineup continues that in its own way, in its own like 2022 way, you know.
No, for sure. No, for sure. And I mean, there's a ton of, not to mention, like, I mean, we can talk about this forever, but the EDM, like you said, I mean, I'm not neck deep in it either, but I look at Flume, I look at Disclosure, I look at Illenium. I'm very excited. I've never been more excited for EDM in all the years I've gone. So, yeah, I'm stoked, guys. I appreciate it.
Same here. All right, I think we got one last one. We've got Mr. Mike out of the DC area that just jumped on. How's it going, man? What do you think?
The one thing I wanted to point out about this lineup is how many women are on it, and I love that.
Yes.
Oh, very good point. Very good point.
We mentioned Stevie Nicks and the Chicks, of course, but then you got Japanese Breakfast, Churches, of course, Rez, like we mentioned. And there's so many more in the undercard. Some of these I'm so stoked for. Churches puts on such a good show. And Arlo Parks is another one I'm excited for. But Japanese Breakfast and Arlo Parks are two I've never seen before, so I'm really excited to see them.
Yeah, and you know, on that point, again, you know, it was supposed to be Lizzo, but now, this year, we still have Rue's first female headliner with Stevie.
Yes, exactly. And the Chicks being a sub-headliner.
Yeah.
And there's just so many on each day. Tasha Sultana, Lucy, there's a bunch on every day that are going to put on great shows.
Also, don't sleep on Joy Oladokin. I've had both Charlotte and Chloe hype them up.
That's right. She's the best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that.
Also, can we talk about Tash Sultana? Like, she was there in 19, right?
Yeah, it's been a while, but
They all
yes.
were together. And she was like, yeah, or maybe it was 18, because she played the same time as Paramore, and that was like the truest struggle. But she was on like the very bottom line on her day, and so I always love seeing, you know, artists come back and kind of like move up. You know, I think that's so cool.
So cool. You know, speaking of women on the lineup, I think Charla had something that she wanted to talk with you guys later when we have kind of like our roundtable discussion with Mitchell and some others. I'll let her get to that later in the podcast. You guys will learn a little bit more. I think she has something up her sleeve. Is that right, Charla?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Any last thoughts from our Twitter Spaces roundtable? Anyone got any other things that are jumping out at you?
I will say, as far as EDM, I think looking at it, like if anyone were looking for a way to get into it, I think this lineup is very good for like a stepping stone.
Yes.
Because it's a lot of the people that I listened to at first that kind of like brought me into listening to others and like kind of getting deeper in it. I think it's a really good like entry level like lineup as far as EDM goes.
My thoughts on that would be like, Flume and Disclosure, great introductions, I think. Oh wait, we got one last one before we start sign off. There is one of our good friends, Pondo.
First off, actually, the headliners are everybody who's listening right now.
Oh.
I look forward to seeing all your beautiful faces and look for the horns, obviously. Horns in the clock, chicks dig the clock. I'm really happy about the lineup. There's a couple of things that I'm upset about. I'm upset that people are bashing Stevie Nicks. I mean, really? Come on, man. She's like awesome.
We will defend the queen.
How can you even do that?
I agree with you guys. The one thing I will tell on EDM, Rez will put on an amazing show. For the light show alone will be awesome. For people who are into jam, I haven't heard much. If you have not seen Pigeons playing ping pong, you need to watch it, and also watch the band Pigeons playing ping pong.
Yeah.
Pigeons are really good at ping pong. I never knew that. And the weather station Thursday will be one that's going to go a little bit under the radar, but I definitely recommend everybody check out their set. I'm pleasantly happy. Over first look, I think I saw 15 acts that I wanted to see like right off the bat. Looking forward to seeing Ludacris. I think that will be an extremely crowded set, depending on when he plays. And yeah, I'm just overthrilled. Like I said, everybody listening here, you guys are the headliners.
Oh man.
Because you guys make the festival, you know, and of course we can't forget Wednesday's headliner, which of course is the Rubus Party.
Hell
that
yeah.
That right there might go down as like one of the top 10 bottle room moments ever. You never know.
I need you to bring the horns and the chains on top of the bus. I'll help you up there, my good man.
I don't know if I can get my fat ass up there, but I will try my damnedest. I give you that.
No, we'll get you there. And more importantly,
overall,
get you down.
I would give the lineup probably about an 8. they're going to add more acts too. You're going to get more of the, the Who stage acts and stuff like that. I think they'll add some more stuff. And I think the one thing I tell everybody is don't be afraid to see an act you've never seen before, know nothing about, because some of the best shows I've ever seen at Bonnaroo are people that I had no idea that I wanted to see until I got there.
Oh yeah, exactly. As we get closer, we can have a lot of these discussions and find out who we're all getting into, because now we basically have the biggest playlist that we're going to be listening to until June. So we're all going to have a bunch of new discoveries like that. Okay, I think I got somebody that's going to sign us off if I know what he was about to do. We've got Josh there.
Oh, man, I am so proud of Luke Daddy, man. I remember him not even being a headliner, like being one of the smaller artists on there. And over the years, every time it's gotten canceled, he's done nothing but explode. So I'm very excited to support Mr. Luke Daddy.
That show is going to be absolute insanity.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks to everyone that jumped on our Twitter call. Charlotte and I are going to have a quick segment with some other information, and then we're going to go to our round table.
Have you ever met a girl that you tried to date, but a year to make love?
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah, what's up?
We have a lot of new listeners.
We do.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, this is the biggest episode of the year. I know there's going to be a lot of new Bonnaroovians that are listening in, so why don't we give them a quick summary of things that they can be looking into? What do you think?
Sure, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so the first thing that I would point them to is the code. Do you know what that is?
The Bonnaroo code?
Yeah, so we have had whole episodes where we've gone into these things, but just Google the Bonnaroo code, and you're going to find a lot of things that are going to give you a quick intro about what the Bonnaroo community is all about and why it's a little bit different than most festivals that you would go to.
Right, it's super, super important, but it's also super cool.
Yeah, so we will talk more about that. We have had whole episodes for rookies in the past. If you dig into our history on Spotify, I think we've had episodes that's like a Roo FAQ or a Roo for rookies and things like that.
Yes, we have.
We will probably do another as we get closer to this June in 2022, I would think.
Oh, we will. Already have someone in mind.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that later. There was something else that I wanted to direct all of our newbies to as well. There's lots of other Bonnaroo resources where they can learn what the festival is going to be all about and hear from a lot of people other than us, right?
Right. So there's a lot of awesome accounts out there that you can follow. You can follow our good friend Chloe on the Bonnarooster.
Yeah, her and Jay.
Her and Jay.
Yeah.
And she's also shit I eat at festivals.
Yes, she is so encouraging, and we're going to have her on in just a minute.
She's super, super encouraging. And you can also join the Facebook group Loophole to Reality.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is a very, very cool Facebook group that you can go and you can learn lots of information about Bonnaroo. There's always the Bonnaroo Reddit out there. You can learn a lot of cool information, and you can actually learn a better way to learn information in that group is by searching.
Yeah, that's a big help.
Yeah, it's really, really helpful to go back if you have a question about camping or what to do in there.
If you really want to do a deep dive, you can look into InfoRoo. We're going to talk with those guys a little later as well.
That's a really, really good way to learn like a lot of good history about Bonnaroo.
And we are not the only Bonnaroo podcast.
Nope.
There's the What podcast. Those guys are far more about the music business than we can ever be. They know way more about that. Barry has worked at the newspaper for years. Brad works as a radio station manager. And Lord Taco he's omnipotent. He knows everything.
Right.
Everything there is to know about PBR and many other things. He is a Renaissance man, and we love him for it, right?
Yes. There's also the Ruham podcast.
Yes, and I think there was or is a Loophole to Reality podcast.
I know they were doing
well.
one at one time. Yeah.
I don't know if they're still doing that, but yes, definitely check out the Ruham guys and the What podcast. We are not the only ones. And hey, if you have the know-how, you should start your own. There's plenty of room for everybody to do their own thing. In fact, I've told a lot of people this. Bonnaroo is a platform. If you have an idea for something like a media project or something that you want to do actually on the farm, do it. Like, if you need help, let us know. Even if we don't know the best way to help you, we can probably direct you to the people that can, right?
Right. I mean, it's kind of similar to Burning Man in that it's a giant collective of
everybody and
coming
everything
together and making their own thing. So go for it.
Exactly. Hey, we got one last thing that we were going to talk with you about before we jump to our panel, and that is our Patreon.
Yes.
Yes. We started this last year, and man, it went off really well. 80% of everything that we have in through the Patreon goes to the Bonnaroo Works Fund, an amazing charity organization that does a lot in the area in Tennessee around Manchester. So much has happened in Coffee County and Manchester itself, thanks to the Bonnaroo Works Fund. If you go into town, if you go look at that amazing Parks and Rec Center, there's a cool mural on the wall over there facing the pool, a lot of that is thanks to the Bonnaroo Works Fund. They've done so much helping out like local ball teams and such, and we love them to death. They've got great people working over
Right,
there.
they support organizations, nonprofit organizations throughout the area.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I said, 80% of everything that we take in through the Patreon will go to them. The remaining 20%, Charlotte and I are not going to keep at all. It is going to fund things that we will see to it, make sure that everyone has a great time at the Wednesday night party.
Wednesday night party.
And we don't know what that's going to be because we want our Patreons to help. So here's the deal. We have 2 different Patreon tiers. The first is $5 a month. The second is $10 a month. It used to be 3, but we narrowed it down to 2. Either one will get you on the party planning committee. Charlotte, I know you've been watching The Office a lot lately.
The PPC.
Yeah, exactly. The $10 one, we're going to have a VIP event just for people that sign up for that as well. But on either level, we're going to have a monthly call where we want your ideas. If you want to volunteer for something, we'll put you to work, but you don't have to. Mostly we just want your ideas for how we can do the Wednesday night party, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
Yeah, if you want to do something, we can find something for you. That's okay, but you don't have to. But anyways, you can find all of this at patreon.com/Rubus. Again, Charlotte and I don't keep a cent of this. It either goes to the Bonnaroo Works Fund or it will go to make something fun happen at the Wednesday night party.
Right.
All right. How about we go ahead and get to our round table?
Yes, I'm ready for it.
Hey, Charlotte, we just had some friends show up.
Yeah, we did.
You want to hang out with them?
I do.
So you probably heard some of these voices earlier, but let's go through everybody. First off, from Camp Red Roo, we have Mitchell.
Hello, it's me. I'm here.
How is everything going in Georgia now that you guys won the foosball championships?
I'm wearing my Georgia hat today because it's the only appropriate time to wear this ridiculous foam thing. We're sportsing pretty hard this year. We won a world thing and a national. I've been told it's the same country, but we got them. We got them titles.
Well, y'all know me. I'm very happy about the baseball thing. The football thing is not as big to me, but I am so happy for everybody in the Peach State. So
my dad was in a good mood because of it. So
go teams.
Yeah, go teams.
All right, next up, we've got Miss Joe coming back in from Louisville.
Hello.
I saw you had a big day. You have had something big happen for you when you were talking to us earlier.
Yes, I am finally blonde again. I am normal.
Yes,
again.
As God intended.
Exactly.
So we're going to be relying on you hard for the EDM picks later on, I suspect.
I got you.
Okay, cool. Next on my list, from up north, we've got Miss Chloe.
Hey, guys.
What is going on in your world?
Oh, just covered in cat hair at any and all times.
Yes, please tell us your cat names again. You told us before we started recording.
We've got the big boy, hash brown, or tater tot. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, big boy tater tot, and then little baby hash brown.
Oh, my God.
All potato-based name cat.
That's right. This is a very starch positive household.
Yes, absolutely. And last but not least, homegirl herself. She's stuck at home with the COVID, but she's doing all right. Miss Ginger Marbles, Brooklyn.
Hey.
Brooklyn, do you want to tell everybody where you're recording from?
The comfort of this bathtub. I got the candles. I got the bubbles going on. It's nice.
How's the Rona treating you? Are you feeling a little better?
At the moment, yes.
Okay, good. We had to run and take her some Pedialyte and broccoli soup the other night. Did that do the trick?
Oh, it did.
Okay.
My mom brought me more earlier.
Oh, good. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
All right. We're not here to talk about broccoli soup. I mean, unless you want to. We're here to talk about what's going on with this lineup and dive a little deeper. So we're going to play a little game. We're going to go through our table here and first go through something else. We're going to talk about what we're looking forward to in the campground. I'm just going to leave this a free-for-all. So we haven't talked about it yet. They didn't release anything in the lineup today, but we pretty much know that we can expect stuff happening at all the plazas. And I'm going to start with Mitchell because Camp Red Roo is a big part of this. So, what are you guys going to have going on at Red Roo, Mitchell?
I actually just met up with the guys over at Pontoon Brewing last week to go over the beers they're brewing for Bonnaroo because they do the official Bonnaroo beer. And also they're going to this year for the first time make a separate beer just for what the event I'm about to bring up, our beer exchange, which is Fridays at 10 a.m. out at wherever the hell group camping is this year. I say that because we've gotten a couple maps each year, and we haven't gotten to the new place yet. But the beer exchange is on Friday at 10 a.m. and that's probably the biggest thing we do each year. But we're also throwing a party, I believe Sunday night, but we haven't hashed out all the details yet. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to offer out in the campgrounds. That's always a fun part for me, is just wandering around. Like finding the House of Yes a couple years back was something else.
Let's start with that because that's probably mine and Charlotte's favorite like Rue organized thing, not like campground organized thing like Red Rue. House of Yes has been like a little bit of everything. They've been like a drag show, a dance party, like what else?
Oh my God! I walked in on the Labyrinth being replayed with an ashless Chaps Bowie.
Yes,
it was.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, that was we walked in on that, and they had like a ton of people wearing suits the color of the background, but they didn't have asses on their suits. So it's like Green Man with their asses hanging out, doing spirit fingers and floating things for the Bowie on stage.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's just one taste of what you can get in there. Did anybody else go in there in the House of Yes the last time or two?
Oh yeah, it's always so wild. Like you just never know what you're gonna get there.
We took a shoe from Korea in there last time, and what was going on at the time? It was right around the time of the Pride Parade, wasn't it, Charlotte?
Yeah.
That
right before the Pride Parade started.
That was fun. Oh, and we should give a plug to the guys in Get Weird. Apparently, they were the quasi-official DJs of the Pride Parade. They were on top of Big Red.
Oh, really? I didn't know it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, Brooklyn, I know you got to go there. What did you see at the House of Yes?
That is my goal for this year, to go to the House of Yes. That and Where in the Woods.
Oh, yeah. We missed that the entire time last time. Joe, what did you get to see in the campground last time?
So I think the only thing I have seen is a little bit of Where in the Woods, and then a pizza booth at like 3 a.m. So it was my first first festival ever. So I would like to experience a lot more of the campground this year.
Oh, well, you're going with us, so you're going to get a lot of that.
I'm so excited.
I feel I should mention that every year there is a pineapple party out in the campgrounds that you have to bring a pineapple in order to be able to be brought into, and it's worth checking out because it is a blast. Normally, Big Red drives over there with a bunch of pineapples, so it's hard to miss.
Heard that beer and pineapples.
The first time they did that, everybody swore up and down that like Glass Animals was going to show up because that's the time that album was out. It did not happen, unfortunately. No, everybody thought it was going to happen, and then half the crowd left when it didn't happen.
It's always so funny, the things that you think won't be real and are, and the things that should be and aren't. Like meet us at the ice machine, Pod 3, Bad Bitches Only, please, God bless. Like I did not think they were going to show up and hang out behind the fucking ice machine. So sorry about that.
I heard they did. Wait, you're talking about?
They did. They absolutely did. They went, and the Lonely Island Boys and Chris Kattan hung out over at the ice machine by Pod 3 for like an hour and a half, just like hanging out.
I heard they gave out T-shirts.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Okay, so that's just a taste of the campground stuff. I just wanted a bit of a appetizer because now we're going to get to the meat of this. So here's the deal. We're going to go day by day, even on Thursday, and everybody in the room is going to pick their top 3 and give a brief reason why. So we're going to let you guys go first, have our guests go first. And I know Mitchell worked hard on this. I got him first on my list on Zoom. So, Mitchell, why don't you kick us off with your 3 picks on Thursday?
All right. I had a little bit of hard time because you said 3, but I narrowed it down. And I think for my 3 for Thursday, I'm going to go with Andy Frasco and the UN, which are a blues rock band that is just fun. It's a high-energy show. Going to love it. The Dip, if you're not familiar with them, they are a really fun, like, indie rock dance jam band. I don't know. They're an interesting one, but they have some songs that remind me of like the Mumford & Sons or Judah and the Lion sort of style, and the others they have just like Vampire Weekend throwdowns. And then third, and this is honestly the best one on Thursday for me, Sons of Kemet, which is the lead saxophonist for The Comet Is Coming, his jazz ensemble.
Oh.
And oh man, it's a jazz banger of a dance party. If you were looking forward to Too Many Zeus last year, check out Sons of Kemet.
Okay, that's awesome. I didn't know the connection. I know you were big on The Comet Is Coming. So yeah, that's cool. I will probably go to that with you. That sounds fun.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's go next on my list. I've got Joe. What are you looking forward to on Thursday?
On Thursday. So it took me a minute to stare at it. Definitely Griffin and Closey. I'd say it's my top three are all EDM based. And Recno, I knew I recognized the name and it took me a minute. And then I realized that my favorite Grizz song has Recno on it. So I think I want to go check that out.
All right, anything else Thursday?
That's it.
Okay, that's cool. We can do less than 3 if you want. All right, next up, Miss Chloe.
Oh man, Thursday I was really grabbing for straws. There's so many names I'm not familiar with, but that makes me so stoked. I'm with Joe on Griffin. I think that is such a cool way to like kick off Bonnaroo. Like I loved the Opry having it on Thursday as this kind of like wholesome welcome to the weekend of debauchery, which is hilarious. But I think Griffin is going to be just like a stone cold party, and I'm really looking forward to that. And then Andy Frasco and the UN. I was stoked to see them in 2020 and 2021 lineup. So I'm so stoked they're coming back. I think it's going to be awesome.
Oh, wait, so they were one of the few that made it through both drafts to get to this. Okay, that's cool.
I think so, yeah. And those are my only two. Everyone else is like brand new to me.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot to learn. I'm looking forward to digging into these playlists. Next up, we got Brooklyn. What's your 3 on Thursday?
Okay, hang on. Let me look. So definitely with Joe on Closey and Recno, but I also want to check out the Brook and the Bluff just because that's my nickname. You've given me a new nickname.
Yeah, I keep when we're playing like cards or something. When she's over at the house, I'm trying to get her attention. I'm like, "Hey, Brook and the Bluff."
But yeah, I want to check them out too. And Andy Fresco is pretty good.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you about that in a second. All right, Charlie, you're up.
Number 1, definitely Andy Frasco. Number 2, Closey. And then the rest I really don't know much about, but I'm definitely going to be checking out the Dip after Mitchell described them.
Yeah, after what?
Cool,
Yeah,
yeah.
after what you said, Mitchell. Yeah, we'll probably be at that with you as well. Okay, here's my 3. I'm going to go with Closey as my number 1 on Thursday. That is going to be insane. I loved what she did last time that she played at the other. I think it was on a Thursday. Ooh, I love that kind of internationally flavored stuff. And that girl goes hard. I cannot wait. Other one for me is Goth Babe. I have fallen in love with them the past couple of months. Me and Brooke are going to get to see them at Okie, so I'm going to get a double dose of them. That's kind of one of my favorite new bands this year. And third is Andy Frasco. I got to see them at the other fest that some of our friends in Manchester was able to put on at the last minute, and they killed it. It was a good taste of Bonnaroo when we didn't get to go, and they really saved us in a lot of ways. And I'm hoping that the Bonnaroo community can pay them back with a big attendance at their show on that Thursday. All right, you guys ready?
I love that Andy Frasco will just play anywhere. Like he's like, backyard, book it. They came through like on a tour here in Iowa recently, and like they had an off night and played in a parking lot of a bar.
Yeah,
like last minute. They're like, you got space? Let's do it. I love that.
He's very old school, not only when it comes to their music, but just how he handles the stuff. He's just like, yeah, like you said, he'll play anytime, anywhere. They're just there to have fun. So they fit in perfectly at Rue. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the lineup. We'll start with Joe on Friday.
All right. Well, I'll start with my number 1. I'm sure you guys already know. It's Millennium. I cried getting my hair done today when I saw it. Like I knew it was on the leaks, but just seeing it set in stone, that made my day.
So I'm a little unfamiliar. Tell us about what kind of EDM Millennium is.
Very melodic. He can throw down. He definitely can throw down. He's been on some harder songs with other people. But for the most part, I always describe Millennium as like, if you want to cry, like a good cry, he is the best person to listen to. Like his music is very moving, and honestly just really beautiful. And I like that he can do like both aspects. Like he can do something that will make you cry, and then the second half of the song will be like, let's melt your face off kind of thing, you know?
Heck yeah. What's next?
It was hard to choose, but I would probably say Disclosure and Still Woozy would be my next two.
Awesome. Yeah.
I've never seen them, so it'd be really cool too.
I suspect we're going to come around to those two here in just a minute. All right, let's go with Mitchell next. What are you looking forward to on Friday?
Once again, you made me pick a lot of my favorite children, and I picked 3. So top of the line, Goose. I got introduced to Goose when a lot of people did during the 2020 show that the Bonnaroo put on, the live stream, and was blown away. And I have been playing Shenanigans Nightclub at my house way too many times, and just generally just digging on Goose. It's like they are a jam band. I'm gonna be honest, but it's a jazz funk nightclub jam band.
Heck yeah. I think you're going to have Charlotte with you at that show for sure.
Oh yeah. I'm so excited about that one. Second place for me is Disclosure. I'm a sucker for house music, repetitive house music that I can dance to the whole time on the floor. Let me get it. Disclosure is so good. We got to see them once before, and they put on a hell of a show. I almost went to go see them on New Year's Eve, but came and hung out with you guys instead.
I'm honored.
Their tickets were very expensive, and also your company is a lot nicer.
Well, now we can go see Disclosure together, though.
Oh yeah. And then third place for me, this was a hard one. I want to just mention runner-up Chicks, Bleachers, and Tovlo. But third place for me is actually King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Yes!
Because I don't know if I'm going to get paper mache Gizzard, and it's like soft indie folk fun dance music, or if I'm going to get Planet B, there is no Planet B, metal jazz Gizzard. And I'm so excited to see which iteration they pop out.
Oh, I will have much to say about this in a moment. But yes, 2 of those I'm definitely going to be with you. Maybe even all 3. All right, next up, you got Chloe. What are your top 3 for Friday?
Ooh, Friday's pretty stacked for me. Again, I'm with Joe on this one. Millennium is like my absolute can't miss. I think I mentioned on IG Live earlier that like I missed them in like 2018 or 19 when they were there, just because I was so beat up from the rest of the weekend. So I'm excited to like finally get my chance to like stand and cry in the crowd. I think that'll be great. My number 2 is like literally brand new to me today. But after I discovered them, I've literally only been listening to them, and that's Whiskey Myers. I was kind of bummed, like looking through the lineup. I didn't see a ton of like Americana that like I recognized. But a coworker of mine, sent me the lineup, and she's like, "Oh, you're seeing Whiskey Myers. I'm so stoked." And sent me a few songs to listen to, and I think they're going to be awesome. Kind of like booze-soaked, sunburnt Americana, and I think they're going to be so awesome, especially on Friday when you still have like a little energy and you can like really get down in the hoedown, I think that'll be great. And then my third pick is a dead tie between Disclosure and Bleachers. I love Bleachers. I'm really excited to see them again.
But you're going to be happy since your boy's playing that 1984 thing later then.
I am so intrigued about that, because didn't he do something similar in 2015? He did a throwback Super Jam then too.
Can't remember.
I think he did, because I was there, and like, yeah,
that was
and, like,
fun.
Zach Galifianakis and like John Hamm came out and introduced it, and I'm like, what? It's 3 a.m. What is happening?
That was when he was with Fun, and Fun, as a fun little fact, I learned this from the What podcast today. They're the only band to have a number 1 hit while playing at Bonnaroo.
Oh yeah, isn't that
wild? What a crazy stat!
Wow.
Oh yeah, I was at the beginning of that Super Jam now, because I remember it was not just John Hamm, but it was why can't I think of his name? Dude from the Hangover movies, Galifianakis.
Yeah, Zach Galifianakis. Yeah.
They go together to Bonnaroo, the 2 of them, by the way, multiple years.
Do they really?
Yep.
That's so cute.
This is technically a storytelling podcast. We haven't really done that this week since it's lineup day, but I heard a fun one. Apparently, John Hamm was driving back to Nashville for a flight, and he stopped at a Waffle House for breakfast. And somebody noticed him and noticed that he had a Bonnaroo wristband. And they were like, "Hey, did you have a good time?" He's like, "Yeah." And he like was able to slip out of his wristband and handed it to him. It was a VIP thing. He's like, "All right, you should go. You'll have the time of your life." So can you imagine like freaking like Don Draper telling you to go to Bonnaroo? Insane.
That's fantastic.
All right, last up, let's go to Brooklyn for her picks for Friday.
Okay, so my number one is definitely Still Woozy. And then I got Japanese Breakfast and Briston Maroney.
Oh, you got 3 that nobody else picked. Tell us why you went with those.
Japanese Breakfast is really fun, but Briston Maroney, I found him on the lineup, I think it was 2020. And I started getting into him, and I fell in love. I like his Freaking Out on the Interstate song. It's pretty good. And Still Woozy is just a vibe, a whole vibe. I love him.
Still Woozy is kind of like if you mix Glass Animals and Tame Impala, because it's like the one dude that's
Yeah. Or like, there's a lot of bands that I've found recently that are very similar, but Still Woozy is probably the best in that genre, in my opinion.
Oh gosh, we're all gonna be so busy on Friday.
Yeah.
Let's go to Charlotte. What do you got?
Okay, Friday's really, really hard to pick just 3 because there's so many good people. Okay, so number 3, I've really been getting into Ty Verdes since that was one of the Bonnaroo clues. And then number 2, Robert Plant and Alison Krauss, because that's just legendary.
I
How
have
can
to
you
see
not?
the Golden
Yeah,
God
I mean,
himself.
How could you not go see that? And then number 1, Goose.
Okay, well, we're going with Mitchell.
Yep, we'll be there.
I gotta at least stop by Robert Plant. I don't
Yeah.
have that in my 3, but
How can
I
you
gotta. I
not
mean,
see that?
he's the Golden God. I gotta see him. I've been screaming that for years. All right, my 3. I'm gonna start with probably my number 1 of the entire festival. It's King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I am obsessed with these guys almost just as much as I am with Tame. And just like Mitchell said, you don't know what you're going to get because they play literally everything. It depends on what night. If you're going to get like a hard rock metal band or a psychedelic band or even kind of a pop band like it was with their last album with Butterfly 3000, you know. I'm hoping it's a mix of all of them, and I really need to hear Head on Pill live. Like, that has to happen in my lifetime. That is a bucket list thing for me. If they play the opening chords of that, I will lose my shit.
Hot Wax for me, man.
Ooh, yes, that one as well. Another one for me, Disclosure. You said it already, Mitchell. I love these guys. If it weren't for their last album, DJ Catlow would not exist. That's what got me off of my butt and got me to taking like mixing and spinning a lot more seriously to play at like house parties and stuff. Other one for me, I think I'm going to have to go with War on Drugs. I love their new album. I love their stuff already. They have kind of more of an 80s vibe nowadays. But, yeah, really excited about them. I saw them for a few songs when they played Bonnaroo last time, but I'm going to probably be at the whole show this time. So a lot of good stuff on Friday. It was hard to pick. All right, we're halfway through. Why don't we go in a different order this time for Saturday? Let's start with Brooklyn on Saturday. What are you looking at?
Oh boy, this is my favorite day. So I'm gonna go ahead and say my number 1, y'all all should know, is the Backseat Lovers. I've been hyping them up for so long. I'm excited to see them at Oki, and then I'll get to see them at Rude too. So this is gonna be a good year for me. And then I want to see. I lost it. Pigeons Playing Ping Pong. I've been meaning to buy their sets for a while now, and I think I'm gonna finally check them out this year.
I bet I know what your number 3 is.
Oh, you know what my number 3 is? It's Mark Rubier.
Yeah.
Luke. I'm gonna show up in a robe. It's gonna be great.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess Saturday is robe day because Friday is Jorts Day. I neglected to mention that.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you helped me pick out an outfit the other day. We will not discuss it. We'll just see it. Yeah. All right, let's go to Mitchell next. What's your 3 picks for Saturday?
All right, so one of my top 2 for the whole festival is playing on Saturday, and that's what I'm going to open this up with, and that is Billy Strings.
Ooh.
If you are not familiar with Billy Strings, you mentioned Americana earlier. Billy Strings is like psychedelic bluegrass, but this man is a god at picking a banjo or a guitar or just in general, and I am so excited. When he was on the 2020 lineup and then didn't make it to 2021, I was a little heartbroken, and I'm so glad to see him back on there. He was traveling with Billy Kreutzmann of Grateful Dead and another Billy, and they were calling themselves the Traveling Billies. and everything Billy does is great. Honestly, his album Renewal is one of the top albums of last year for me. Second place, I'm gonna go with Brooklyn on this one too. Mark Ribble. Luke Daddy is so good and wholesome. I've already seen him. I too will be in a robe and boxers on that one because that's what Luke Daddy would want. And then my third, a little off the beaten path, Fema Kuti, which is Fela Kuti's grandson, and he is doing Afro disco jazz big band funk is, I guess, how I'd put that in a box. And I am so excited to go dance with a whole bunch of strangers to people that are probably just going to wander in not knowing who he is because the beat is going to draw you in. And if you're not familiar with Fema Kuti, go listen to Fela Kuti because he's like a cover band of his grandfather. And his grandfather is incredible. Just look up Expensive Shit. The Nigerian government charged Fela Kuti a lot of money to test his own fecal matter at some point in time, and he wrote an entire album about it.
Mitchell, I love you. I would never know about these things or these amazing bands if it weren't for you.
Check out Fema Kuti. Yeah, it's so good. Like big band funk Afro disco. It is fun.
All right, on that note, let's go to Joe for your top three on Saturday.
All right. This one was actually really hard. I will start out with Lucy just because I love her. And I'm happy that I get to see her again. Flume, 100%. Very excited for that. And I'll say BTSM just because I have not seen them yet. And I do listen to their music quite often. So, I think it'd be a good show. Runners up would be Suicide Boys, Said the Sky, and Mountjoy.
I saw somebody joking earlier today that they just assumed BTSM was a campground activity and not a band.
I mean, it could be.
I will have to look into that. Okay, Chloe, your top three for Saturday.
Saturday was rough for me too. By number one, obviously Mark Rebier as well. So strictly no pants party. We all must be in robes and like emotionally prepared. It's going to be so good. I think I mentioned this earlier too, that like seeing him, he was on like maybe the bottom line of the 2020 lineup. So to see him so high on this year's lineup, I think is so dope. He's had just a crazy like 2 years. It's awesome. And then Porter Robinson, I've been stoked to see him for like literal years, and seeing him on other lineups had me super worried that we weren't going to get him. So I'm really excited to see him this year on the farm. And then probably the one I'm most excited for on Saturday is my girl, Joy Oladikin. She's going to be so good. I'll see her in April here in Iowa, but I'm so excited to finally see her there. Oh, it's going to be great.
Yes, and I recommend everybody follow her on Twitter. She's had some important things to say this past week. We might talk about that another time. But follow her. She will speak for herself quite plainly. I love her to death.
Agreed.
All right, Charlotte, you're up.
Okay. Number 3, Joy Oladikin. Number 2, Mark Rubier. Number 1, Billy Strings.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, we might have to do a group trip to Billy. Okay, real quick. Or do you have anything to add to that before I jump to mine?
Well, now I'm obviously going to go see Fema Kuti based on Mitchell's
Well,
recommendation.
I can't not stop by that at least based on what you just told me.
When we were talking, I already Googled it.
Okay. Okay. My top for Saturday is Flume. Ever since I saw that Flume show at Lollapalooza a few years ago, I'm like, yes, this is what I want EDM to be. It's so weird and trippy and fun. I just can't wait to be at that show. He did a fantastic job last time at Rue. That was trippy. We'll talk about that another time. But yes, very much looking forward to that. Other than that, I am looking a lot at Luda. I got to go see Luda on Saturday. That is going to be a ball. He played Rue before. We weren't there. He's a great throwback act. And plus, that boy done went to space in the last Fast and Furious movie. So I got to go see him. And I think number 3 is Billy Strings. I've been really getting into him. And I haven't seen him live. I've got to now. So, yeah, that's going to be fun.
All right, so before we get off Saturday, I have something of a musical challenge for everybody out there and whoever's listening inside their heads right now. if you think you're a fan of all music and you can really go with the punches of the new culture coming in at all times, and as was the style back in my day sort of thing, you don't feel like you're going to lose what it is, I implore you to go listen to 100 Gex.
Okay, what the heck is this? I've seen a lot of people talking about this today.
I have too.
I literally, anytime somebody tells me they like all music or all music matters sort of thing, I put them in their place with 100 Gex, because it is the sound of progress, and it is abrasive, childish, and heavily saturated, deep fried.
I have no idea what that meant, so I'm just gonna have to listen myself.
Like, it's for 12-year-olds to 20-year-olds right now, as I'd say that their target demographic, that chug Monster and vape. And I enjoy the music. I'm not even gonna lie, but whoo, boy, is it a challenge to folks. Like, I've played it and they're just like, what is this?
Okay, so everybody had some homework from Mitchell. I'm going, when we get off this and I'm done editing, before me and Charlotte eat dinner, I'm going to listen to a song and just I'll report back.
Stupid Horse.
Stupid Horse. Okay. I will let you know. Okay. On that note, everybody remember your homework from Mitchell. Let's go over to Sunday. I'm going to go down my list. We will start with Joe.
All right. My number one has got to be Stevie Nicks. I'm sure that is probably a lot of other people's number one. I feel like that's very much a once in a lifetime kind of thing to see her. And then Tash Sultana, she's fantastic. I've been listening to her for a couple years. And Of the Trees. Those got to be my top three.
Yes, I think that might get mentioned as well. Let's go next to Mitchell.
All right. So Sunday's my hardest day. Like, I'm going to have so much triage on Sunday. I don't know what I'm going to do with my time, but I know no matter what, I'm going to be at Herbie Hancock, because that is, besides Billy Strings, that's the other really big one for me. If you've never heard the song Chameleon, that's homework part 2 for Mitchell. Go listen to all 16 minutes and try not to get down on that funky groove.
Yes.
I picked 2 others that are a little off the beaten path, lower, because I'll be honest, I'm going to go to Stevie Nicks, of course. Tash Sultana is also here, but I picked Lettuce as my number 2. I love me some Lettuce. Incredible stuff. If you haven't given it a listen, they did a cover of Miles Davis's Bitches Brew called Witches Stew, which is like a jazz funk a tribute to it, which is incredible. And then third place for me, Tierra Whack. If you are unfamiliar with Tierra Whack, she is a rapper that spits straight fire. I loved listening to her stuff. I found her earlier this year. I would say Unemployed is a good place to start, and maybe Cutting Onions or Mumbo Jumbo. Like, she is some heady rapping, right? Really smart, really quick, and always dancey beats.
Yeah, I think I've heard some stuff from them from Charlotte and Brooklyn before, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to Chloe next. What's your 3 for Sunday?
Obviously, Stevie Nicks is my number one. That's out of pocket. Like, I know we've been really, holding our breath to get her on the farm, either like as a solo act or part of Fleetwood Mac. So I'm so glad that finally happened. Coin, I'm super stoked to see Coin. And Zach Bryan. He got added super last minute for the 2021 lineup. He was kind of having a moment. I think he had some like songs hit the airwaves and just got really big. So I'm excited to finally actually see him this year.
I don't know this guy. What kind of stuff does he play?
He's country, Americana.
Okay. Okay, well, we do have quite a bit.
Really soulful, though. Like, he has a song called, I think, Letting Someone Go, and it is beautiful. Like, the first time I heard it, I think I just, had it on a playlist, and I'm like, why am I crying? Like, in the middle of work, I got stuff to do.
It sounds like kind of up Charlotte's alley. Do you know that guy?
No, I'll have to check him out.
Check it out. Okay.
I think you'll like him, Charlotte.
Ooh, good new recommendation. Next up is Ginger Marbles herself.
Okay, this one's a good one for me. I'm going to start off with Flip Turn.
What?
Very last row right there, but they're so good. Our buddy Aaron actually got me into Flip Turn a couple years back, and they're amazing.
What do they play?
It's kind of like, I can't describe it. I want to say like indie rock, indie folk.
Okay.
But they're so good. You should check them out. My next one is Of the Trees. Love Of the Trees. And then I was gonna say Herbie Hancock because Mitchell didn't put me on, but he took that one. So I'm gonna go with All Them Witches. I looked them up when the lineup leaked from them, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, we have to repay the favor.
Definitely gonna go by their set.
I saw a few songs from them when they played a few years ago, and I dug it. But they're the new MDU, so we got to go see them for a little bit and turn out. All right, Charlie, you ready?
I'm ready.
Go for it.
Number 3, Herbie Hancock.
Ooh.
Number 2, All Them Witches. Not because they leaked the lineup, but because I saw them a few years ago, and I really liked what I saw.
I think you remember more than me.
Yeah, I do, clearly. And number 1, obviously, Stevie Nicks.
Yeah. I mean, going to Stevie, I feel like that almost shouldn't count because everybody's going to go see Stevie. Yeah.
That's going to be a big show.
Yeah.
So I was going to say Stevie for my number 1, but like I said, it doesn't count. Tosh Sultana, really excited to see them. I like this kind of like stoner rock subgenre with like them and Mac DeMarco and many others. That's going to be a lot of fun to be at. Rez, I cannot believe nobody else has mentioned Rez. That is going to be a barn burner on the other. She tweeted a picture, or not a picture, but a video of her new production. If half of that is on top of the other, it's going to be absolute insanity. And I'm going to go with Lettuce for my number 3. I guess I'm turning into an old man. I'm just getting into more jam bands, We'll see. And I'm going to risk y'all making fun of me. I might stop by Machine Gun Kelly just for like a song or two.
Oh, no, I'll be there.
I mean, I like Oliver Tree, and he makes Machine Gun Kelly's beats, but MGK is a pill I don't think I'm willing to swallow.
Yeah, why don't we talk about that for just a minute before we start to sign off, because that has generated a lot of talk today. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you my initial thoughts. Like his like pop punk stuff he's doing, I don't hate it. Like that, his sound that he has now, I'm gonna risk it and just say it's kind of cool. I don't care, but him as a person, don't really care for him very much. I don't know what they were thinking getting him, because like it is going to generate a lot of controversy. Does anybody got any opinions you want to share?
Why is Herbie Hancock's name underneath his? Why is Herbie Hancock's name underneath his? I cannot understand it. Like 90-year-old man that built the house that Funk lives in, Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
Somebody said that Machine Gun Kelly saved punk rock.
What?
And I was like, no, he ruined it. He ruined it.
That person doesn't know what punk rock is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Honestly, I just want to see him again.
Yeah, is Megan Fox going to be hanging around the side of the stage like
And I would love to see her. Yeah. I would love to.
We'll allow him in if he brings Megan with him. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay. That is plenty enough about MGK. That's all the airtime he needs. All right, I'm going to go to everybody to wrap it up. I want to hear your overall thoughts, and how do you think this stacks up against like other Rue lineups that you've seen? We'll start with Chloe.
I think it's awesome. I know we're all still kind of like riding the high of like announcement day, so I'm sure maybe our feelings will change kind of in the coming days, maybe more excited, maybe less excited. But I think it's great. I think it's really varied and interesting. I think there truly is something for everyone on here. I'm excited to see more like higher build hip hop representation. I think that's really exciting. I think that's been something that hasn't always been a priority in recent years. But overall, I'm really excited. I think they're doing a great job, especially for like the weird market and time we're in. So the fact that this has been put together at all with such variety, I think is just really laudable.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, because it is very, very, very challenging to put together anything like this right now. The pool of available artists are probably a lot different than it would be if it wasn't for the Rona. All right, let's go to Brooklyn next. What are your overall thoughts? How does it compare to other Rues?
I honestly really like this lineup. I really like we got Mark Rubier, we've got Lettuce, we've got like a bunch of a bunch of just fun acts, and I'm really looking forward to dancing a lot because it's a lot of music that you can dance to. So I think it's a pretty good one. Nothing will beat the 2020 lineup though.
Yeah.
That we never got.
R.I.P. I know. All right, Joe, your overall thoughts.
I think it's great. I was talking with someone earlier that like there's really like a diverse, like it's a very diverse lineup. Like if you are more into like hip hop and rap, like there's stuff for you. If you're more into EDM, there's stuff for you. So I think they did a really good job of like spreading it out. I mean, nothing will be like the 2019 lineup for me. I think that's just because it was my first festival, so it was so special. But I'm definitely happy with it. Like, I think it could have gone south. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're very right about the diverse thing because, like, look at this. We've got Stevie Nicks and Robert Plant, but they happen to be on, like, the same lineup as some of these other ridiculous names. There's not many other festivals you're going to see something like that at. All right, let's go to Mitchell last.
This is the weakest headline I think I've seen since I started coming to Bonnaroo, and I'm just going to say that outright. Stevie Nicks is a grail, and she is incredible, and I love the chicks, and I'm going to go see a lot of these headliners, but this is the weakest headliners in my opinion. One of the strongest undercards, though, because I do not understand why Herbie Hancock is not a headliner. I mean, he has been making music since the 50s, and he's been relevant pretty much every decade except for the last one. And I guess that in and of itself, that part of the sentence I said right there is why he's where he is. But I'd say it's a weak headliners, but really, really strong undercard. And that's honestly my favorite part. It's always music Christmas for me. I go and look at the stuff I don't know and find just really cool stuff every time. I didn't mention it, but also I will be there at Ludacris with you because when I move, you move. Just like that.
Dude, that show, I'm going to have to be wearing like my Braves jersey and Atlanta Braves hat because boy represents Atlanta. I can't wait. That's going to be fun.
He's going to fill the gap that Nelly left in my heart.
Mitchell, there's something else you mentioned that I think is a very valid point about Herbie being billed low. They kind of did the same thing to John Prine a couple of years ago, honestly.
Yes, they did.
Like these legends that should be billed a lot higher aren't. And I wish that's something that they would take more stock in.
I think it has to do with name recognition with 20-year-olds. I just straight up, I think that is the strongest reason why a lot of these folks aren't top billed.
Yeah.
They haven't been relevant to the current audience for like a decade besides an album they just released. And the music legacy acts, unless they're, your dad listened to them and you got handed it, they just don't get the same billing.
Yeah, you're probably right. Hey, but you know what? I would be shocked if Herbie didn't show up at that 1984 Super Jam.
Oh, I want, please. And Mark, Loop Daddy better be a part of that.
Oh man,
if Loop Daddy is not a part of the Super Jam, injustices have been done. But I will settle if he's in charge of the road rage.
Oh well, that would be an injustice if that were not to happen. What the heck?
Well, they gave us Girlfriend 2 years in a row, and I enjoyed her both years, but they gave us Girlfriend 2 years in a row. So the road rage, I'm not holding my breath for Mark.
Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. This was a lot of fun. We've got, 5 months and change till we get to all this. Ooh, man. Yeah, and we've got to go party in person. I'm tired of doing this on Zoom. We have to do it in person very, very, very soon.
I'm gonna do this from the bathtub next time. Now that I know that's an option.
That was the whole episode.
Yeah, what's your verdict?
Everybody from the bathtub. Why not?
Oh my God, yes.
Honestly, it got too hot and I had to get out.
So next up, we're going to talk with some of the regulars from Info Room.
Hey everybody, it's Daniel again, and I have kind of a motley crew from InfoRoo on with me. Let's start with Jacob. I want you guys to introduce yourselves by your names and your screen name on InfoRoo.
Just giving away my full name here. My name is Jacob. I'm trainer on the board. I guess the easiest way to introduce myself is if every year you see a lineup, a Bonnaroo lineup that ends up being fake, that's me. I've been on the board since 2014, but I've been going to Bonnaroo every year since 2016. I mostly do Bonnaroo, Shaky Knees, but I've also done like Oshiega, I want to do Coachella. So I've been following Bonnaroo specifically since about 2016.
All right, cool. So you're the one responsible for all these fake posters. So send your tweets and emails his way.
It works every year. It's so fun. It's always like there's a few people who have been catching on to it who are like, this is our yearly Infru fake. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like this year they got me with the Marcus King band. I scuffed that because I work. It's like a 3-week process, and I think they announced their Spain dates within that process. So like I added them, and then they announced their dates, and I just didn't double check their dates. So they got me on that one this year.
Okay, I'm gonna circle back around to that later. All right, next up we've got Mitchell.
Yeah, I'm Mitchell. I'm Cooking Mama on the board. I used to go by James the Ram. I have been going to Bonners since 2017, and I do some other fests too. I do Shaky Knees. Probably doing Coachella this year, some other things, and I do 3 points also. Okay, but I don't have any good claims to fame like Jacob here does, unfortunately.
Now, you've been very active on the headliner thread this year.
I have.
I think there's a lot you can speak to later. All right, last we got Zach.
Yeah, I'm pretty unoriginal. My screen name is also just Zach. I've been going since 2013. I went by myself, and then I drug 2 of my friends for 14 and 15. Missed 16, 17, done 18, 19, and was going to do 20, and hoping to do this year.
Okay.
Also do Halloween, and, here, there, hopscotch. Been to Okeechobee twice.
Ooh, we will have to connect about Okeechobee. Are you going this year?
Not sold yet. I just don't have as much free time. Used to be a bartender. Now I have PTO, so I just gotta watch that PTO nowadays.
Yes, I understand that struggle as well. All right, guys. So I think I've got a good crew here to tell me a little bit about what's going on with InfoRoo. I had been lurking on the boards myself for years before I finally made an account under the Rubus. I guess 3 years ago, I suppose. But I feel like I had been partially aware of what was going on. I was only knee deep until I really started posting and getting to know you guys. But maybe you guys can give me a little bit of a 101. So like, how long has it been around? How did that whole crew come to be on those message boards?
I could probably field this one. So Info's been around since 2003, and it's gone through quite a few generational changes. There are some members on the board who have been there for who remember the 2007 lineup drop where they were at the first 8 Bonneroos or whatever. So it's been, I can only speak from my personal experience. I only started browsing Info from Music Midtown, and then I got talked into kind of going to Bonnaroo and stuff. But people have their own paths. There's this really good podcast series. We have our own podcast series. Silver Surfer does it. He's actually in the other room right now. He does a People of Info chat where he talks to all the people and how they found Info. So everyone kind of has their own individual journeys, I imagine. But I imagine most people know about us through Reddit or kind of like the Bonnaroo themed Twitter accounts like you, Bonnarovian. Who else is that? Pondo, Festival, kind of accounts like that.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is like a lot of those type of accounts kind of go to you guys on InfoRoo for like inside information. Like a lot of these things tend to surface there. I mean, you guys kind of have like an ongoing joke that the Festival seems to be hovering to find out those scoops that he reposts on his Twitter account, Why do you guys think like all these pieces of inside information seems to come through InfoRoo first?
I've always kind of wondered that myself. I think it may be because the community is it's pretty small, and us there, we are pretty big music nerds, I would say, for the most part, especially the more active posters, and that maybe that's why it comes. But yeah, I'm not really too sure why we end up most years getting some kind of information. It just happens, and I'm glad it does.
It might seem like it's come around in like a couple of different ways. Like back in the day, it was the person with the insider account. I think she had like an angel as her avatar or something like that. But she hasn't been around in some time, has she?
She posted in the 19. Yeah, she posted 19, and that's the last time. But before that, she hadn't posted since 16. I think.
No, it wasn't 16. It was 15.
It's 15?
That was the first time she ever posted since I started going. So it was 15 was the last one.
Yeah, so we haven't heard from her in 3 years at this point, 2 years.
Yeah.
So.
Do you ever introduce who that was or what kind of connection she may have had?
We've always thought that she was a plant. Like, no joke. I mean, like, somebody who consistently is always right the day before the lineup and that, like, the company can never track, who, like, cares that much. You know, either it's someone on the board who regular posts and that's just kind of their, like, account where they leak from, or it's someone who just works for Bonnaroo and they kind of leak it to create hype before the lineup. I mean, it's easy money, you know, marketing-wise.
I think didn't we think that they had connections at AC Entertainment, and that's what and
Superfly.
Was it Superfly? Okay, so yeah, because Superfly took back over in some capacity in 19. That's when they came back, and they hadn't. So we think maybe it was that, but again, they didn't post in 20.
Yeah, let's
or
back
21.
up a step because we'll have a bunch of new listeners this week. So like Superfly, along with AC, were like the original two companies that put Bonnaroo back, you know, together back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and these days it's a lot more Live Nation, so maybe that's why you don't hear from people like Insider. But it seems like you guys have had a couple of other personalities crop in, right?
Yeah, like recently there have been some people just randomly have scoops fall into their laps. I think part of the reason scoops kind of are attracted to Bonnaroo usually, Info specifically, is just because, you know, of long-standing connections to people. There are people who actually know people in the industry, know people at this booking agency. They know agents personally, and it just kind of happens to fall into our lap. And those relationships are more long-standing than like r/Bonnaroo has been around recently. But I mean, r/Bonnaroo's had their fair share of scoops. I mean, there was this guy who just got buried in the comments a few years ago and like released all of the set of headliners for 2007.
Oh, yeah.
It just got ignored completely.
I forgot about that. Who was that? And what did they leak? I forget.
U2 doing Joshua Tree in full.
Yeah.
Chili Peppers, The Weekend Chance. And everyone, like, as soon as you saw Joshua Tree in full, everyone was like, oh, this is fake. And then that rumor started going around that U2 is doing a Joshua Tree tour. And we were like, wait a minute. Didn't somebody say this like 2 months ago?
So we're recording this on the Sunday prior to the lineup releasing. This is going to release after the lineup is out, so we might end up looking silly. But like, yeah, it seems like there was a guy that popped up a month ago that was like, "Yeah, Coldplay's going to be there." Like, no big deal.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
I think that dream's out the window.
Yeah.
As much as I'm a Coldplay defender. But,
yeah. So like going back to that stuff, talking about like these personalities that seem to pop up in InfoRoo every year. You guys have like almost an encyclopedia's worth of like stories and inside jokes and such. Like, how do you keep up with all of that and keep it all in check and in mind?
We're obsessed. I speak for myself for the most part here, but like I get on probably an obscene amount, especially around this time of year. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's, again, because it's such a small community, we all know each other either in person or just posting so much. We basically know each other anyway. So yeah, we can get the inside jokes going and things like that. And it's really nice community that way.
What is your favorite inside joke or InfoRoo meme, from each of you guys?
I've always liked the private forums invite.
Yeah.
It's like DM this user for an invite. And somebody said that recently. And like it almost never works, but I think Tristan said it. He was like DM Trainer for the invite. And I got like 4 PMs. That was like somebody told me you had a few invites left to the private forums. So that's probably my favorite.
You have like a Valhalla for these supposed inside forums. It's like there's invites to all these like VIP brunches and like all the scoops and the lineup poster like a month before it comes out.
It's either that or it's the or it's just some copy pastas. There's some really good copy pastas that get passed around through the year.
Oh yeah, like the shaking in my boots thing. I've seen that one a time.
Yeah, all I'm hearing is complaints.
Zach, what's your favorite inside joke or meme like that?
The 3 a.m. release of the lineup is always a good one. And just just the rat gif is always a classic.
Gosh, yes, I have seen that too many times. Once was too many times with that thing.
Oh, it's a classic. It grows on you with time.
No, the funny thing is like when somebody puts it in spoiler tags and you have to click it and you're like, damn it, they got me.
It's a win for everyone there.
Yeah. So this kind of stuff isn't just online on the forums. You guys have this isn't a joke. You guys really do have a brunch, right?
It's more than that. The brunch kind of was small when I started because less people on the board started going to Bonnaroo. And 2020 was supposed to be kind of the return to form. But, I mean, there were a lot of personal relationships that are on the board. I mean, like a handful of us legit rented a cabin a few months ago and just got
that. Cool. Yep.
And a lot of people, I didn't go, but Mitchell went to one of the LCD shows in New York. Yeah. So there are definitely in-person relationships that have been bonded. I mean, there are people on the board who have gotten me like concert tickets. I've traveled down to see. Mitchell used to come down when I lived in Athens. Come down. I mean, there's a lot of friends we've all met, and it kind of goes beyond the board. So that's, I guess, why the community is so tight.
Yeah, I totally understand that because, like, we have gotten close with the number of the people from Camp Red Root, excuse me. And, like, it's the same with them. Like, they have, like, get-togethers 2 or 3 times a year. We had a couple of them over at our house for New Year's. It was a lot of fun. So, yeah, that's really cool that you guys were able to do that. It isn't just a bunch of smartasses throwing jokes around. It's cool that you guys have one of these
It still is that, but we just happen to know each other.
Yeah, that's funny. So, all right, we were talking about these insiders that pop in, like, and these inside jokes. How do you guys know? Like, you've been around for a while. You have a little experience with this kind of stuff. How do you know if somebody really has some inside info or if they're just joking around with you?
On the board, Todd kind of vibe checked Nas and was like, you know what? I believe Nas. I didn't believe because Nas was one of the big ones coming around this year. And they were like saying stuff like the chicks are headlining, this is happening. And it just seemed sometimes scoops are like too random not to be true.
Exactly.
It's like Walkthrough came around and it was like Coldplay's headlining. You're like, that might be true, but there's a lot of room for doubt just because it's like such an obvious, like if you were going to lie about something, that's what you would lie about. But something about Chicks and J. Cole was just like so random that you kind of lean towards believing it.
Yeah. So like, let's take a step back. And again, we may look silly in retrospect because we're recording this before we know the lineup. But this person that you're talking about, what was their screen name again?
Nas.
Nas, yeah. So they were the person that came in with this out of left field rumor that it was it's going to be the Chicks, J. Cole, and Tool, which that may be the case. It may not be the case by the time you listen to this.
Back in.
Oh, something with a football game. All right. Like when you have something like that come in, it is cool that you guys have kind of like a collective intelligence where you can kind of put the puzzle pieces together and figure out that if it's the case or not. I don't really see another online community for Bonnaroo that does that. And it's cool that you guys are able to do that. So like, how are you able to get through all of the jokes and memes and everything to work together to make that happen?
Some people already have, like we already know their history, and some people who post on the board we know have had scoops in the past. So if they say something, we usually look at, like we take them a little bit more serious. Like Infinity Pass is a big one, who was the one who confirmed Chicks from Nas's scoop. Yeah. And then there's a couple others too that are kind of hang further back. But I think you can kind of tell when someone is faking after a while. We definitely have a good bit of skepticism when it comes to a lot of these, and we kind of push at it, and usually they just end up falling apart because they're not real. But yeah, this one hasn't yet. So
part of the reason I think it's kind of easier to tell on Info than Reddit is because Info is very centralized. There's one thread for headliner discussion.
Yeah.
And Reddit is just kind of built where there's multiple threads and a lot of comments can get buried. and the format's kind of weird. Like it's new to old, whereas in for you kind of read like scrolling down. So it's very easy for stuff and new things to get buried in Reddit, whereas in Fru, there's one thread for it, is the headliner thread.
Yeah, that kind of is all of info for a lot of people that pop in, especially this time of the year, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, it really is right now just the headliner thread. Even the Coachella threads died off in a couple of days.
Yeah. All right, so last question for you guys. I'd like to hear each of you tell me your advice for this. So, this time of the year, there's a lot of people that pop in for the headliner thread, or maybe for some of these archive threads that have like how-tos or advice or whatever like that. What would your advice be to a newbie that is coming to the InfoRu message boards? Besides having a little bit of a thick skin, what would you recommend for them to do?
Be hesitant to believe things.
Okay, that's good.
I think really unless you're coming in like with a ton of jokes or like an in for somebody to explain what Bonnaroo is, I mean, you're just kind of got to know which posters are fucking with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like kind of have to tell, like be able to have good awareness what's jokes if something has like a lot of likes, like on something that seems pretty mundane, like an invite to the private forums, like somebody's probably fucking with you.
Yeah.
So just good situational awareness is what I would call it.
Yeah, those are good things. I would say, also don't be afraid to participate in other threads. We do a lot of games and things that are a lot of fun. That's how we've gotten to know each other in a lot of cases. Yeah, I hope people join. That'd be great. We could always use new users.
Daniel, when are you going to play draft?
Oh, I don't know. I've had Kyle the Bonnaroo try to get me to do that as well. I don't know. I'm way more of a baseball guy than an NFL guy, if that's what you're talking about.
Well, no, we did the NFL draft once. I'm watching a game right now, actually, but we I mean like the artist drafts where we like draft like the infinity draft for this.
Yeah, that's right. Explain that to us.
Yeah, so it's basically a snake order draft, like 1 through 20, 20 through 1, round 1, 2. The most common one is the infinity draft, where it's basically just build the best festival possible after any artist dead or alive. So the first acts are always going to be like Prince, Bowie, Daft Punk, Beatles, Zeppelin. And then we have one that's like you're drafting people who have played shows since 2015 and aren't dead, and then an auction draft where you're bidding on drafts. But pretty much every time you're creating a fantasy lineup. So I think it's kind of things like that set us aside from Reddit.
Okay. I might give it a shot. When does it start?
The next one's kind of up in the air because I feel like we've done so many. I think, I don't know. We'll probably, because we just finished one and we'll probably start, like right now, we do drafts for dumb stuff. Like right now we're doing the Radiohead set list draft where we're drafting Radiohead songs to make the best set list.
Okay.
We can give you a tag when they start back up.
Yeah, please do. I'll give it a try and see how it goes. That does sound pretty fun. But yeah, you're right. Those games do kind of set you apart. I don't see those on any of the Facebook groups or the Reddit or anything like that. So yeah, I'll give it a try. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you jumping on with me this evening. Again, for anybody that's been listening to this, we don't know the lineup yet, or at least the whole thing, even though we seem to maybe sort of know the headliners at this point. We'll see. But thanks again, guys. I really appreciate you jumping on. I appreciate you being good sports. I know we've kind of ribbed each other a little bit back and forth over the past, but I think we all know it's all in good fun.
Oh, for sure. I'm glad you had us on.
I have a seething hatred for you, Danny.
Same. Oh my God, I can't tell you enough. But yeah, seriously, you guys are more than welcome to come to our little Wednesday thing, and I will bring you something to your brunch as well.
If it doesn't get right. I'll be there if it doesn't get canceled again.
Hey, don't you wish that evil?
No storm. No storm.
No storms. All right, thanks a bunch, guys.
Yeah, honey.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you to the InfoRu guys for hanging out with us.
Yeah, there has been a little bit of a friendly rivalry between our two camps over the years, but again, friendly. Sometimes when you're just ribbing at somebody and it's all in good fun, But yeah, thanks again to them for hanging out. That was a fun way to break the ice finally. Charlotte,
yes,
this has been a big episode.
It has.
Like in terms of the length and the content and everything. I'm really proud of this, honestly.
I am too.
Like we've been doing this for, how long now? A little over 2 years, I suppose.
I guess so.
I've lost count. This is, I believe, the 70th episode of Storytime at the Rue Bus. And I'm really happy with where we are. I can't thank everybody enough for listening to us for these 2 years. Our numbers have gotten crazy. I can't believe it. And thanks so much to everyone that has supported us, not only with the Patreon, but everybody that just wants to hang out online and in person.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And for those of you new, we cannot wait to hang out with you in person at the Rue Bus.
I can't wait for you to come sign the bus.
Yes, please come sign it if you haven't. And if you have, you can just sign next to your old signature.
Yeah.
You know?
Put the new date on there. Put
Yeah.
2022.
And come sign inside. We'll show you around. It's kind of a party bus. It's been converted. It's not really built for like long travel. It's built for parties. We've had parties. A couple of years ago, we hosted Repeat, great indie band out of Nashville. They played in front of and on top of the bus that year. It was absolute insanity.
Yeah, it was the coolest party ever.
Yeah, and we will try our best to top it. So DJ Catlow will be there. Get Weird will be there. Mitchell will be our host and MC. You heard him earlier. He is also going to be hosting his own late night show on top of the bus. We have that in the works as well. And you heard him earlier. He's hilarious. We've got a lot of tricks up our sleeve with that. You should be there. Wednesday night at Bonnaroo, around 7 or 8. I don't know. We'll get details out as we get closer.
Wednesday night. You know you have no other plans. So.
Oh, no. So you should be there. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we can't wait to see you. Thank you so much. We've got a lot of plans for this coming season. I hate to call it seasons, but I guess that's what it is.
This coming season of Bonnaroo.
Yeah. Last time on Bonnaroo, we didn't go. This time we are going to go, and we have a lot of things in the works. At the Rue Bus Party, but also on this podcast. We're going to try some different stuff. Charlotte, you and I talked about this. I am going to step away for a couple of episodes. I think the first thing we're going to do is have an all-woman episode before too long.
I think so. I have some plans and some ideas in mind for an all-lady episode.
So I will be editing in the background, but it's going to be an all-woman episode before too long.
Episode,
yeah. Yes. And some other plans in the works as well. You'll hear more about that too. Anything else, Charlotte, before we sign off?
No, I just want to thank everyone for hanging out with us. Like, it's been super cool, just like you said. Like, I just can't wait to meet everyone.
Yeah.
Finally, after 3 years.
Yeah, let's
away.
not think about that. And if you're new, or if you were new last time and haven't been around in a while, remember, and I think you might have picked it up from this podcast, Bonnaroo isn't just the artist that you're seeing on that lineup. It's so much more. Maybe it's a little cliche to say it, but the real headliners are going to be the buddies that we get to hang out with. It's just background music for all that. You will never find another experience like it.
Oh, no.
The community that you're going to meet, the good friends that you make, the love that you're going to see there. There's no other place in the world where you're going to see it. And those of us that have been going for so many years, we see these lineups and we're like, okay, great. There's a lot of bands I want to see. But really in the end, we know we're going because we're going to have a good time with our buddies.
I want to see my friends.
Yeah, in an alternate dimension for like 5 or 6 nights or whatever. So, yeah, we have talked a lot about the bands playing and stuff, but remember, that's kind of not really why we're going, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, we can't wait to hang out with you. Please come to our party on Wednesday. You'll probably see us walking around the campgrounds, or maybe you'll see our Ricky the Cat totem when we're hanging out inside Senru. Come up and see us. We're happy to see you. We might be a little tired from staying up all night or whatever, but trust me, even if we don't outwardly show it, we are so happy to see you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of half the reason why we do this show is because we just want to make friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thanks again, everybody. And the way that we kind of always sign off with this is telling you to get out and radiate positivity. It isn't just at the farm. It's in the real world, too. So get out and do that. We'll see you in 5 months and change.
Bye.